Hello and welcome back to, I guess, the first proper video on the channel. So, like I said in the very brief intro I did, it's going to mostly be hobby vlogs, what I'm up to. So I thought I'd get one out there with what I'm currently working on and what I'm going to be working on in the near future. So it was a bit difficult actually deciding what to include. Obviously I've got loads of projects, as you can probably see the absolute carnage going on behind me, but I can't make a video that just is here's 400 things that I'm interested in. So I'm going to talk about a few things I've got on the painting table at the moment, a few things that are going to be coming up soon, and then I'll try and document those few things interspersed with the occasional distraction of, oh, I just painted this or I just bought that. So I'll also do a few kind of to fill in the backlog of things I'm interested in, get an idea for what I like. Maybe I'll do a few kind of project showcase of things that are finished. So I've actually got something to show off. It might be a full project that's finished. It might just be an army that's playable, if not finished. And, you know, that way I can show off a few things that I've done, ideas that I had with them. Otherwise, you know, sometimes in a week or 2 weeks I might not get much painted, and it's not going to be very interesting if I say, well, here's a half a unit of Germans, and then 2 weeks later I say, here's the other half of a unit of Germans. So things that are on the table at the moment that I'll gonna have a go at doing some downwards filming, and I'll see if I can show off a few things, if I can get that figured out. I mean, full disclaimer, expect some of these videos to be a little bit, should we say, raw, as I figure out how to actually film stuff, how to edit, a format that works for me, that kind of thing. So things that are going on at the moment, got 10mm / 12mm. Comes to that when I show the figures off, because there's no difference. Germans on the table at the moment, standard not jack-booted, short boots, 1944 Germans that actually work for Kursk as well. I've got the Russians done mostly, so I'll show them off at some point, but these are also going to double up for Normandy. So one of my mates, Matt, Colour Sergeant Painting on YouTube, he bought some British, so I said, well, okay, well, I guess we're doing Normandy as well then. So I've been 3D printing buildings from various places that I'll show off when I get to that, and I've just started on the Germans. The other project that I've got on the go at the moment is some 6mm 7 Years War Russians from Henry Turner Miniatures. So they're the 3D prints. They're a bit stylized, but so are other 6mm things. You know, people love Adler, and they have big heads. So I really like them. I'll show off what I've done so far and talk about what I'm going to be doing with them. At some point, there'll be an opposition army. Then the other thing that is making its way back onto my painting table, well, 20mm World War II is always on the painting table, whether it's early war, 1944 Normandy, Eastern Front stuff. At the moment, obviously with all the D-Day celebrations going on, AB releasing Airborne US back at Salute. Picked up a platoon worth of them, so they'll be going on the table soon, and I'll start getting the Americans done for the, well, June in Normandy before the uniforms changed. And two other things that will be making their way to the painting table very soon are the Crusades. Some of you may have seen my forces on the table, along with Martin from Seventh Son bit of a name drop. We've been playing a campaign. We finished 2 phases or stages of that campaign, and the next thing's going to involve a slightly larger battle as we play bits of Dorylaeum out. And for that, I need to paint some more troops, maybe a mounted priest as well, or bishop, as it were. So I'll be getting them back on the table. Again, there'll be a mix of manufacturers, mostly Victrix, but there's the odd 3D printed model in there as well. And then the last thing that's going to be on the painting table very soon, which I'm really excited about, is the Epic Hannibal stuff from Warlord. Now, I actually do have some on the painting table right now, because I've been helping Martin paint up some to get a battle report out for his channel. But I don't think I should show them off because they're not mine and they were sent to him. So I'll keep them off the channel until mine arrive. So I'll practice on his ones and then either be sick of them by the time mine get here, or I will be able to blast through them and absolutely smash them out of the park and get them done really quickly. So what I'll do is I will figure out how to flip the camera around without dropping it on the desk and breaking everything that's on there. No, I will tidy the desk first so it looks less like a murder scene. Then I'll flip the camera around and see if I can show off a few things that I've done and we can figure that out. Okay, so I think I've got this view figured out. However, I would apologise for the mess on the desk. I guess if I'm going to start filming things, I should probably get a new mat. This one I've had for years. It's covered in paint, covered in glue. It's been flipped over. So maybe this will be the incentive for me to get a new one. However, I wanted to crack on and get on with showing you some of the things that I've been working on. So, the things I listed, so 10mm Germans. Right. This is how I paint them. Not this is how, not as in this is the method, as in this is what I do. I stick them on bottle caps and then I just paint them in groups of 3. I think I haven't painted this time 16 at a time, attempting to go for as much contrast as possible. In fact, these could probably be slightly lighter, and the next ones I may push a bit further with the uniform to try and, will I pick that up? No, I'm not sure it will actually. Try and get a bit more contrast on the table, because the important thing is that they stand out on the table. These will get based up in 3s and 2s, and the idea is that they'll be used for battle group, they'll be used for I Ain't Been Shot Mum, Crossfire, and O group as well. I'd like to give that a go at some point. The other ones I've played. Battle group is my game of choice. I think Chain of Command is probably the best set of rules. I just love battle group and its combined toys on the table approach, but with realism. I don't know if that's the right word. Realism as well. So these are the fledgling German force for them. Now, if I bring this one over, I don't think you see it. There is a plastic figure mixed in. Now, am I going to get this to focus? Probably not. So, these are the, that's actually a Fallschirmjäger, this one, but 12mm, 1/144 scale from Victrix. Now, on 1/144 scale, and Pendraken, I should have got a loose one, are 1/150th scale. However, the difference in materials actually means that's a terrible thing. Let me show you that. That I'll be back with blue tack. the two figures are almost identical height, and actually the Pendragon, because of the limitations of metal, are actually bigger, beefier, so they'll work absolutely fine together on the table. I'm printing most of my vehicles, and they're being printed at 1/150th, so I won't be using the Victrix 1/144th stuff. However, the figures will match in absolutely fine, and a great way of getting a company of troops on the table. What I've also been working on is some buildings for Normandy. I've got 3 manufacturers here. So we have Jens Nadowitz Model Blau, and these are from his set that's specifically designed for 6mm. So they're not solid, they're hollow, but they're solid one-piece sculpts, no openings, which means that they're a lot easier to print at the small scales. Then I also have Patrick miniatures. That will be glued together at some point. There's, well, they're natively sculpted at 1/100, 15mm, and then scaled down. And then the same with this one, slightly different style, still a Normandy building though, believe me. And this is from a company called 3D Forge, and he did a Kickstarter called Neufmarch, and these came natively in 1/72nd scale, but they are based on the buildings in the town where he lives in France. So those 3 manufacturers will make up the bulk of the terrain. I'll then be able to base them up, and we'll be able to have, proper looking towns or villages, and still not towns, but proper looking villages of 20 or 30 buildings on the table, and still have empty space for combat to take place outside the town. So that's the 10mm Germans as they stand. Not too much to show. There's more Russian stuff done, but what I'll do with that is at some point I will do a project overview of that once the infantry are finished, and I can just show off all the 1943 Russians I've done, vehicles and everything, all as one. Right, so I'm going to have to tie the desk more to do this. These are my 6mm Russians as they stand from Henry Turner, and these are a mix of actual purchased prints, and then I bought the files and I've been printing them myself. I'll pick a unit up, see if I can do it without getting my thumb blocking everything. As you can see up close, it's not an amazing paint job. However, en masse, they should look pretty good. These need basing up, and then I will move on to doing some Prussians, I think. And these will be for... There's a lot of rules I'd like to try. I want to try Field of Battle. I want to try Might and Reason. I want to try Maurice. And then Twilight of the Soldier Kings as well. Looks like an interesting rule set. And if none of them stick, I will use... I'm not sure if it'd be Pike and Shot or Black Powder rules for this period. Actually, it kind of falls between. But I think it'd be Black Powder with some tweaks. And I would give that a go. Because at least I know... with that family of rule sets, I can get the figures on the table and get playing. So the last thing that's going to go in my current project list, I don't know how much of the carnage you can see around the desk, there's obviously other projects going on, are the new a couple of months ago 20mm US Airborne from AB Miniatures. AB are flat out my favourite and the best, bar none, traditional sculpted or traditionally cast miniatures you can buy. They will be for Chain of Command and Battle Group, but they may also get used, and I might do a video on this today. This came through the post. V for Victory, or 5 for Victory, as they're saying. Now, I might do a flick through for this and show it off, because there hasn't been a lot of information about it. It's mainly been Studio Tomahawk putting up slightly vague posts without any real context of what the game was, not what it was about. It's obvious what it's about. It's about World War II skirmish. I'll be interested to see how it compares to. Well, I know how it's going to compare to Chain of Command. It's not going to be the same game, and that's not the worst thing. Obviously, I love Chain of Command. However, it's not the easiest game maybe for some people to get into. On a quick read through today, this looks better than Bolt Action to me. It's more my style of game. I like the way the armies are. Armies is the platoons, the forces. Tell what they aren't though. They are not factions. Are put together. I like how there seems to be a realism to what's available for you to use, and the scenarios look really well put together and very interesting, and a lot of asymmetric scenarios in there, which I think is fantastic. And it looks like a really well produced book, very similar in style to the newer Saga books with the hardback, nice pictures. Rules seem to be well laid out. Obviously, there's the occasional, as with all their publications, there's the occasional French word slip through there where they're translated, but I don't think that's going to be the end of the world. So that may be something I'll show off in the future, is a flick through of that. They'll hopefully next time there'll be some at least painted Airborne. Maybe I'm not planning on doing painting tutorials. I don't think. I might do some short videos just on how I paint, say, M42 Uniform Airborne or German Field Grey in 10mm. That kind of thing. If there's an appetite for it, I guess. However, I think for now, that's probably going to round up this kind of initial, not really hobby update, because none of you knew what I was doing before. It's more of a hobby jumping off point. If you want to follow what I'm doing, this is where I'm starting from. I'll go back at some point, fill in the blanks with some project overviews, terrain that I've made, stuff like that I think's interesting and people like to see. And we'll go from there. Okay, well, bye for now, I guess.